Welcome into a Sunday night edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here on this Sunday from the Noodle. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Beautiful weekend. A little chilly outside. You were hibernating, buddy.
I did. I didn't even see it. Didn't see a
Caught
blink of
back
sunshine.
up.
Yes. Look at me. I'm vibrant.
Absolutely.
Long cry from Wednesday.
Yes, good. Looks like you're back.
Feel back.
Wednesday, bro, you look dead.
I was dead.
The,
Dead man walking. Dead on arrival.
The side view of you walking in from this angle, there was the green and then the beads of sweat that were bubbling on the nose and the forehead. Yeah, it was just like, wow. Boy, just take off. I said, just keep it running.
Keep it running. I can do
just
this thing for 2 hours.
We'll just talk.
That's what we do anyway.
I felt bad for you.
No, dude, I was good. But you gave me the, how we doing? Every morning I was like, oh, good, man. I was like, not good.
No,
He's like, oh,
you couldn't hide it.
No.
You couldn't hide it either.
Couldn't fake it.
Yeah, you couldn't fake it.
Like, give me 1 second. I'll get this thing set up. We'll get rolling. Better back, baby.
Sunday night here, we will talk to Jimmy Chase. Super Week. Tomorrow when we wake up, Super Sunday will be the next time we see Joey Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. They will be taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Odell Beckham Jr., Andrew Whitworth, and Los Angeles playing as the visiting team in their home stadium for Super Bowl 56 as the Bengals are 4.5-point underdogs. As it's starting to hover a little bit. Starting to hover around 4.5. I've seen 5. I've seen 5 in some outlets, but I think 4.5 is probably the popular number.
It's never going to get below 3.
No.
They won't let it get there. It'll be in that little hover zone where it's you got to pick either you go money line Rams or you take a little taste on the Bengals. Or you take a big swing Bengals money line.
We're going Bengals here. I mean, you have to.
I mean, already I got a little future on the Bengals, got a little future on the Rams. What can you say? They're both here.
All right. A little insurance over there.
Swinging all of them.
We were watching the SEC game in 2019 between LSU and Alabama on the SEC network that was playing today. That's must-watch television, right? Like, I mean, that's stop every time.
Absolutely.
If you're an LSU fan, I mean, first off, it's incredible to look back on that game and see the amount of talent that is not only on the field, but look on the sideline. Look at the guys that aren't playing that are making impacts on, like, today's game, right? I mean, like, even like Neil Farrell, you know what I mean? Like, he's a guy who's had a really good Senior Bowl week. Damone Clark. I mean, Damone Clark, I think, probably punched his ticket into the first round after some of his workouts in Mobile. In fact, we're gonna track down Jim Nagy at some point this week and talk to him about the winners of the week in Mobile as the Sunday or the Saturday Senior Bowl game kind of capped off the week of the workouts. I think that's really what more is placed on the. The stock of the prospect is more highly graded on, how they work out through the week, through the practice sessions. I think obviously the game, it matters, but not as much as the week. And it looked like Damone Clark had a great week.
All of them.
Yeah, all
of them went home with awards, huh?
Yeah, I think they were all named MVP of their crew, man. I mean, that's shows you just, I mean, like LSU had the talent over the last couple of seasons. But now it's just about getting kind of the program right again under Brian Kelly's direction. So good to be with you here on this Sunday night. Every Sunday night we're brought to you by Lance Beal, attorney at law. Remember, Lance Beal is online, as you can find him each and every week. He can help you out with just about everything you need as far as representation goes down in the Acadiana area. They're online at lawofficeoflancebeal.com, lawofficeoflancebeal.com. Phone number is easy. We tell you every week, 337-991-6263, 337-991-6263 is the phone number to get in touch with Lance Beal and our guy. We will talk about Super Bowl week coming up here with Jimmy Chase at 8 o'clock this evening, as Chase and, of course, the Bengals getting prepared for Los Angeles. We'll talk to Chase, Jimmy, about what are some of the responsibilities of the family this week, what type of, just kind of communication can you take away from Jamar as far as like handling the tickets and what's going on with hotels and travel and all that stuff, just kind of what the week ahead's looking like for the Chases. But obviously yesterday, LSU basketball ran into a tough one again as they were not able to claw themselves back into a game on Saturday versus Vanderbilt as they fell 75-66. And once again, it was a slow start and bad offense that really plagued LSU. And you look up, and Rodney Chapman has a career high. Like you've got guys that are scoring, just out of their minds against LSU. Some of the defense yesterday in the first half was painful to watch. And look, I think it's all a domino effect, right? Like I think it's you can really kind of mile mark some of the stuff that has been going on with LSU basketball and why they find themselves in this place, right? And these are no excuses, and we'll go through everything here before we get out of here. But obviously the first part is the health. Xavier Pinson means a ton to what LSU tries to do each and every possession. He is the main ball handler and primary point guard on this team, and without him, they have looked lost. Without him, they have not been able to really control the pace and tempo and dictate anything from the offensive side of the ball. They went through nearly a 6-minute scoring drought again yesterday in the first half where they just couldn't find it. They just looked very clunky. They looked out of sorts, and I'm not blaming this entire thing on personnel, right? But a huge part of this is the health of the team and your point guard being out. There needs to be better backup and better, secondhand strength for you behind that position to come in here and try and alleviate that. The coaching's got to improve. And, I know that people, kind of look at this show and understand the relationship that we have with Will Wade. And Wade and I are cool. We are friends. But he knows that I have a job just like everybody knows what his job is. And my job just happens to be of when, things are going on and in around LSU sports, you have to talk about them. And right now, Wade and LSU basketball they're in a slump, man. They are looking for a way out at every turn, and they can't find anything that's working for them. You saw yesterday they had some breakdowns in the corner between, Gaines and Days where he crosses half court, dribbles into the corner. Days comes back up to set a screen nearly, almost a foot ahead of the half court line. And, Vanderbilt just picks it and runs it out for a dunk, and the cameras go back to that side of the floor, and both of them kind of have their hands up, looking at each other. There's a lot of frustration right now that is kind of hovering over LSU basketball. And I think the coaching criticisms have been called out on this show. Because what I say today is the same thing that I said a couple of weeks back when they looked stagnant at Tennessee and they couldn't find any offense. When you place so much stock and put so much belief or so much of what your offense runs through one player or through a couple of looks and sets, well, then when you start to lose depth and players and the other guys don't really run that style of pick and roll or whatever the scheme may be with Pinson on the floor, they have looked like a totally different team without him. And I think that the offense has to have something that you can rely on no matter what the personnel is. Like 6-minute scoring droughts in college basketball that's
tough to do.
That can't happen. Yeah, like it's almost difficult to do with think about the talent that LSU has on the floor. And, none of them can light it up as far as, drop 30 one night. I think Brandon Murray eventually will get there, but right now he's battling some injury and, he's just going through some stuff. But 6-minute scoring droughts with a team like LSU is inexplicable. Like, that can't happen. Much less 9-minute scoring droughts like they went through a couple of weeks back. There has to be something drawn up where you can just say, hey, back this thing out and run a motion. Where, the ball goes here, you screen away, you dive here, you cut here, and people are moving. Where it's tough in a 35-second shot clock, 25-second shot clock to guard the entire time. And if you get a clean look and you crash the glass and you get an offensive board and you can't go right back up, well, then pitch that thing out and set it right back up. And just work the defense and run and move the ball. I mean, to me, it's very elementary. I mean, it's not difficult. It's not rocket science. I mean, it's what you were learning or what you are teaching your kid to run in middle school basketball, junior high basketball, where, look, man, if we don't have a breakout layup where we can steal and our defense can turn it into offense, and you have to get into a half court and you got to play, and you don't have a dominant take the game over type of player, which, like in Little League, you don't really have that. So you got to run some type of motion, some type of flex, some type of screen away, ball moves there, this guy goes here. I mean, LSU just stand and watch. And in basketball, when you're standing and watching, man, unless you've got a takeover player on the floor that can just back it up one-on-one, get to the rim, get to the free throw line, make and one, shoot over people, do just superstar stuff, Jabari Smith type player, then you better be able to work something. You be able to pass and cut your way to a clean look. And LSU it is painful to watch them play offensive basketball. I mean, it's just like, dang, it's like screeching nails on a chalkboard of them just trying to find something. Is it
a case of them just being wrong, like being young at all the wrong places? Because when you look at, obviously, a lot has been made of Pinson, and I don't think it's insert here and that's the fix. Like, he didn't carry that much weight for LSU basketball, but he does stabilize the offense and the defense on some ends. But with him out, and you see all the other injuries that are kind of piling up, like Brandon Murray kind of feels like a shell of himself with that hand injury. Like, he doesn't look comfortable playing, but he's your only kind of guy you can create offense for. Is it just a case of LSU basketball with the Adam Miller injury, and then you get the Pinson injury, and you have days in and out, that they're just young at all the wrong spots, especially on road trips like this, even to Vandy, where Will Wade can't seem to win?
Yeah, no, now 0-3 under Wade in Memorial Gymnasium. Always been a pretty weird place to play, but I mean, with the teams that LSU have brought to Nashville, it's crazy to think that they're 0-3 after Wade's fifth year on the job. Yeah, look, I think that they're youthful, but look, college basketball is a young man's game.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's a youthful sport. So,
but
freshmen and sophomores.
I don't think anybody thought that Eric Gaines going to be your starting point guard going into this year.
No, but I mean, Gaines in his second season did need to realize that there could be a potential playing opportunity if somebody was to go down, and he needs to be significantly better than he was last year.
I think he has been.
He has been. But he still makes mistakes that you're just like, man, I mean, that's...
You don't have to do that there.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, come on. You have the ball in your hand primarily more than anybody in the game. You got to be able to protect that thing. You got to, you can't be careless with it. It just, look, they're tough to watch, and they need to get right, and look, I've said this, and this, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but I mean, there's only so much you can say about LSU, but traveling to Reed Arena and playing Texas A&M, coming up on, is it Tuesday night? I mean, everything is a must-win right now. I still think they're a tournament team. I still think they're in the postseason right now as they are sitting at 16-7 and 7th in the SEC. Like they have to start winning. Last week I was telling you, like, they just need to kind of get a win for their mental capability, their mental, just wherewithal. But now your backs are slowly but surely being shoved up against the wall where you better start winning to save your seed, and they're going to try and screw you. I mean, they gave you an 8 seed last year when you really deserved a 4 seed, 5 seed. Think about if you're on the fence and on the bubble. You're out. With a team at some points during the year has been labeled a 2 seed. So, I mean, you got to start winning. And you got to start winning like Tuesday. It's got to happen. I mean, the week ahead is Texas A&M midweek, Mississippi State on Saturday. 2 very winnable games, also very 2 losable games. And if you look up and you've lost 9 of your last 10, man, like,
Oof.
oh, goodness gracious, man. I mean, you think it's imploding on you right now and you can't find a basket and people are unhealthy. I do think that there is an opportunity to get it right. You know? I mean, it looked like Pinson was way more hurt than we first thought out. When he came back for that stretch or he came back for that game, was that against A&M?
TCU.
TCU.
TCU. He was not right. And then they started him the next SEC game.
Ole Miss
game. And Ruffin
shouldn't have
went,
played either.
I mean, you know, Ruffin went ballistic versus him before Ruffin got hurt. But
Well, that shows how desperate they were to get a win.
yeah, absolutely.
And then
It does.
because he doubled down on the fact that, well, not doubled down, but he went back and said, and look, if we have to sit him this week, if we have to sit him against Vanderbilt and it causes a loss, that's fine. I need to get Pinson right.
Yeah.
And so he almost realized his mistake, like, well, let's see what it looks like in game action. And it didn't look great. Then they tossed him out there again, and it looked even worse. So I don't know when the next time you'll see Pinson is, but it was obvious that Will Wade feels him like almost mission critical to what LSU is trying to do to even get into the postseason. And now it's a wait and see game because how many games do you have left?
Let's see here.
10?
10
10 games left?
8 games.
You got A&M, Mississippi State next this week. You got Georgia, who's playing really good.
Jesus.
Georgia shocked Alabama earlier this week and had Auburn on the ropes,
ropes.
bro. Had them beat.
Great game.
It was a fantastic game. It was a great game. So you've got Georgia and South Carolina next week. The week after that, you go to Rupp Arena, where Kentucky right now looks like a Final Four team. They look much different than the team that visited Baton Rouge.
It looked like
just a
it's-
couple of weeks
that's
back.
like the tale of two teams.
It
almost.
is. It absolutely, and so is LSU.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the turning point for both teams.
It is. So you've got Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Georgia, South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas, and Alabama are your last 2 games in conference. So yeah, you've got 8 games left. 2, 4, 6, 8. You got 8 games left.
We appreciate Jordy Culotta, Hall of Fame.
One thing that we do appreciate is Will
Thanks, Bill.
Wade. Will Wade
Yeah.
over here. And I think that it is absolutely wacky, crazy, nutty talk to think about not retaining Will Wade. Like, I get the negative stuff that's being said about the X's and O's and the on-the-floor stuff. And if I was to just be allowed a line in and say, what do you think, Culotta? What's your opinion? I would say, Coach, with all due respect, I would hire a bench coach. There's nobody in the country that recruits at the rate that Will Wade does. People, LSU's got potentially three 5-stars in next year's class. They've got leaking water coming through the practice facility, and they got rats running around at the Maravich Center during games. And they've got 3 5-stars committed to LSU next year, all on Wade's watch. All have said because of the relationship that they share with the head coach. You can't fire the guy when he's got 3 5-stars, potentially, if Marvell Allen is reclassified, which it looks like it's going to happen. And if Allen's in the class, you put him alongside Johan, who they just got from Arizona, the 5-star center, Traore, and Julian Phillips, the 5-star power forward from Florida, and you've got Marvell Allen. You got 3 5-stars in one class. You can't run the guy. But I would say this, Coach, keep dominating recruiting. Like, it's okay, in my opinion, to be a head coach and your best quality be a recruiter. Because it's very hard to find in the sport dominant recruiting. So if your head coach is your best recruiter, it's okay. But you have to know what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. And I'm not saying that he doesn't. But right now it looks like he's got a blind spot for not understanding his weak spot is in-game coaching. I've been to Wade's practices. I've seen countless practices. He runs as tight and as organized and as a objective-filled practice as anyone I've seen. And I haven't seen them all, but I've seen NBA practices. I've seen college basketball practices. I've seen high-level high school and AAU practices. I know what good practice looks like. Wade runs a fantastic practice. There is an emphasis on improvement. There is emphasis on skill development. There is emphasis on competition. There is emphasis on getting better every single day. I know that's going on. But what I also can look and see through the television and show up at the Maravich Center and see is that in game, things need to improve. And right now it looks, when the rest of the league has you scouted, that you don't have a lot of answers. And it would make sense to go out there and just open up a conversation and a line to somebody who's got really good X and O basketball pedigree. I've always said that it should be John Brady. That boat may have sailed. That boat may be gone now. But this is something that I think Wade has dealt with, thought of, known in the past. And got to a confidence in his mind where he thought, I can take this on. I can handle this. I'm recruiting these guys. I've got the best relationship with them. I've got, really the line to communicate with them and be able to tell them, hey, I need you to improve here. Because one of the things that Wade does incredibly and is very, when you see it happen in front of your face, you're like, wow, there's the brilliance of Will Wade on display right there, is his ability to really kind of coach you up, break you down, and then kind of pick you back up right in the same conversation. And without really kind of, MFing you. But still will. And I think that there's a lot of good qualities, really elite qualities in his coaching. But the in-game management and the in-game coaching has to improve. It's got to improve because coaches are really I think that's what the slow start is about. Like, people have you scouted. People have that's almost a coaching tactic, in my opinion. I mean, that LSU's not that bad. You know what I mean? Like, they're not that bad. And I know when you kind of you start to jumble the personnel and you start to move some things around and you got some guys hurt, well, it can kind of make you play with two left hands, two left feet, where you're just kind of clunky and you can't find yourself. But that is easily, in my opinion, very easily can be fixed. And it's not by firing or running Will Wade. People that are truly saying that out loud really need to check the history of LSU basketball and understand where you're coming from and what playing grounds you're on right now versus your competition. Alabama unveiled a $180 million facility for their basketball operations and gymnasium that I guarantee you will be approved and ground will be broken on in the next 3 years. Kentucky has the best facilities in the sport. Tennessee rivals those facilities. Texas A&M looks like a spaceship. Looks like they play basketball on the moon. In College Station, their facilities are so incredible. Arkansas has top-notch facilities. Georgia's about to unveil new facilities. Florida has national championship-type facilities. LSU's getting 5 stars with water leaking in the practice facility and rats dancing around during the games. You have to understand that they're coming from the dark ages. This stuff is new. For people to be saying out loud that it's time for Wade to go, have you lost your mind? Who do you think would take the job? Now, I know that Scott Woodward's going to pay, and he'll open up the checkbook, but it's going to be, which will make it very intriguing. But when you look at the facilities maintenance, you look at the support for the program, and that's what you're getting in return? What Wade is giving you back? Tournament every season, recruiting at a top 10 level every year, and the potential of landing multiple 5 stars per class, which he's got one right now. Does the coaching have to improve in game? It better. It absolutely better. Or this conversation becomes more real of the hot seat stuff, because you got to win games. That's what it comes down to. You can get as many 5 stars as you want. Les Miles had countless run through that locker room across the street. But once it was time to coach him up and find a place for him on the floor, he was just kind of had his finger in his ear. And I think Wade is much more connected and dialed in and understands his team and really is a better coach than Miles was a football coach.
Jesus.
I'm just saying from the comparison's sake. But it's not unfair to say that in-game management and full season scouting, because it does look like LSU has been scouted. You're starting to play them for the second time. There's 2 months of film now on LSU, just like there's 2 months of film on Texas A&M and South Carolina or Mississippi State, the 2 teams that you play this week. But it looks like the stranglehold has been put on LSU after scouting them and really understanding their tendencies, and they don't have an answer for it. And that comes down to coaching. I mean, I love my guy, man. And the fact that people are talking about him being fired is crazy. It's nuts. But he needs to get better. They got to improve.
Would you say it's a lot of people that saw the 15-1 start or 15-0 start and they hopped on the bandwagon and now they're starting to see how an actual basketball season plays out? Like, this happens. Whether it be, 15-1 to start the season or 7-7, everybody, basketball is a game of runs, not only in the game, but in the season. You've got to manage these type of things. And has it gotten off the rails a little bit? Yes. But this is something where, Will Wade, you can turn it around, because that's how basketball works. It takes a game like this to kind of get to the bottom to claw to the top. Like, I just feel like it's a lot of fans that weren't basketball fans and kind of understand how a season can ebb and flow, that all of a sudden have their hands in the cookie jar and want to. You don't fire a basketball coach after one loss. That's football talk. This is SEC basketball that has built itself up to be a perennial contender, not only in the SEC and in the tournament, but nationwide. Auburn's number 1 team in the country. Like, this is what can happen whenever you're in a power player conference that the SEC has become, and Will Wade has kind of found himself in the thick of it with dealing with things that not only coaches are having to deal with at the moment. I know there's injuries everywhere, but what he's having to deal with both on the court, off the court, and I think it's a testament to himself. Like, his biggest strength is probably his biggest weakness, where he feels like he can fix everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he has his hands in a bunch of pots wherever he could just kind of delegate some of these responsibilities.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's true. I mean, when you're so in it.
He's so in it.
And you're so, I mean, look at the bags under his eyes last night after that
He's
in
worn
that
out.
press conference. I mean, he's just, you can't figure it out, and you've had it figured out, and you're in the same locker room with the same team. That's maddening. That's like it's being stuck inside of a maze that you've been able to kind of we've been running through this thing,
It's
man.
high school homework.
All we've been seeing is,
everything.
just kind of open spaces everywhere we looked. I mean, we've been moving around, and now you're boxed into this corner, and you're like, oh shit, I don't know where we are. I can't figure out how to get out of here.
The sauce.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't
Which
know.
way's up?
I've tried everything. You know what I mean? I've tried different starting lineups. I've tried to move people around. I've tried, more minutes here. I just, to me, if you're asking what I would do, I'd play Sharif more. I think that Sharif gives you this spark of just a change of pace, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. To me, he's not. I build him a lot of as a rebounder going into this season. I think he's more of a scorer than we give him credit for. I think he can create, at least.
We haven't even
he's
seen
kind of
what
a
his
Tari,
potential.
kind of a Tari 2.0.
Tari took that game over, too.
He did, but you can see the scouting report is out on Tari. I mean, people are trying to force him left every time he touches it. He's made a couple of plays, but he's very
Still got that spin
uncomfortable.
move, yeah.
He's very uncomfortable moving to his left with the ball. I mean, that's what the scouting report obviously says. Look at the way they defend him. I mean, they almost have their ass to the sideline, like defensively. Like, they are totally giving up the left side, and there's nobody there to help unless he puts it on the ground. When he starts to dribble, they'll come up. But, I mean, you can see what the scouting reports are on LSU, and you wonder what's LSU's responses.
Counter.
You can't just give him the ball 20 feet from the rim and tell him to play one-on-one.
That's what they did.
Look, man, he's that good. He's awesome, but at some point, what's the goal here? Do you want to try and win championships? You want to just try and beat Vanderbilt and Nashville? Now, I know that yesterday was I just want to beat Vanderbilt and Nashville. I get it. But, I mean, it doesn't work against Vandy and Nashville. It sure as hell going to work in the SEC tournament when everybody's knowing that this is just one-on-one. This is background stuff. It's playground type stuff.
Their defense carries their offense.
Well, but the thing is, you can't get
the
into
depth,
defense.
Well, and the depth kills you with the way that they were playing early. You have to have 8. You have to have 8. And you got to have 8 horses that you can look at and say, I need you when you get out there. Remember how they used to use the minutes with Eason and Fudge when they would come off the bench and they were so
good.
Electric, and they would give you this jump and bolt and surge
like
of
LSU
energy.
was coming at you in waves.
Right? And then they started to have to play more minutes. And now you don't have anybody behind them to back them up. So these energy bursts that would exist when they were out on the floor, you were kind of like, I can't find him anymore because these guys are playing extended minutes. And that defense was so swarming and so attack style based with the depth when you can just come running at you at waves. You know what I mean? You look up and you're like, who the hell is Fudge? I mean, this guy looks just like, the easy Efton Reed. And then here comes Sharif O'Neal. I mean, all these guys look the same and can run, jump, but now you're just down to O'Neal. And Fudge is giving you a little bit more minutes than he has to, and you can't find Pinson, and you can't really, what's Day's going to be?
It's you're trying to put together a puzzle without all the pieces, so you keep swapping other pieces to make it almost look complete, but without all the tools in the tool shed, dude, without all the pieces in the box, you can't put the whole thing together.
Yeah,
and that's what it feels like for LSU basketball. It's not unfixable, but I mean, I keep going back to this, and I think it's true. He's playing for next year. If you get all those hosses back, and then you have
you got to make the
3
tournament
5
this year with this team.
You have to make it. I think he will.
Well, the way that he's sliding right now in college basketball, you got to understand in that locker room, in that coach's office, how scary right now is.
Well, then that's the first time he's questioned ever.
Because a lot of last night was just being wrapped up in what's been going on. I mean, there's plays where they're asleep. They're getting backdoor cuts behind them. They're just falling asleep on defense because they're losing. And then on offense, they're shooting the ball inside the first 5 seconds of being across half court. Amen. They're just out of it.
What's up, Joey?
Hold tight. Come to you.
Yeah, that was the first time I've seen them, or first time I've seen Will Wade question effort. Where it's like they were just, they probably feel that as much as Will Wade does. Like they know that they're better than this. And
Absolutely.
They can feel
Absolutely.
like the walls closing in a little. Like we shouldn't be losing to Vanderbilt by 20.
That's what you're also banking. Like they got to help him out too. You know what I mean? Like you got to meet halfway. Fellas, we can draw it up. We can show you what to do, how to get there. I mean, you got to make shots. They still miss bunnies. They don't box out. They still miss stuff that you're just like, damn, that's going to get you beat.
And they're shooting too early.
It is Super Week, or when you wake up tomorrow morning and start your day with the Jordy Culotta Show. By the way, hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. Tomorrow morning when we wake up and talk to you for the first time, it will be Super Week, and MarrChase, Joey Burrow, and the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be getting prepared for the Los Angeles Rams as they travel out to SoFi Stadium to take on the Rams for Super Bowl 56. Incredibly, in Jamar's opening season, in his rookie season, they find themselves in this spot. I don't know if you had the chance, we talked about it here, to watch the mic'd up version of the AFC Championship game. I cried in my living room watching it, listening to MarrChase cry at that end of the game of how that hit him. Jamar is not he's not a guy that is very open to the media. Even when his days at LSU, even in high school, he was very focused, kind of on his task, and he would not do media responsibility unless it was absolutely beckoned of him to do it. And like this week, he'll be responsible for some media capabilities. But to hear him in that moment, to hear what that meant to him, and it was kind of like he even to himself shocked himself. He was like, "Bro, I think I'm gonna cry."
I think I'm crying again.
Yeah, he's like, "I think I'm gonna cry again." And it was incredible to see how much it was meaning to him. His dad has been awesome to us. When he was in high school at Rummel, he would come on our radio show. When he was at LSU, he always came on when he was cutting everybody up for the Tigers. And now, as a Bengal, he's back with us here for Super Bowl week. Jimmy, good evening. How are you, my man?
Good evening. Good evening. How y'all doing?
Doing good, bro. Are you in New Orleans or are you in Cincy?
No, I'm in Cincy right now.
How cold is it?
Oh, it's 32. You know.
Jimmy, I saw you at the Cigar and the Heavy Coat last week in Kansas City. You're Southern bred. You're as New Orleans as they get. What has it been like getting used to this cold weather?
Well, we have to go with the flow right now. You know, like
Yeah.
winning cures everything.
Yes,
okay?
it does.
Let me just say that.
Yes,
okay?
it does.
When they win, it's not that cold.
Those palm trees of California are going to be waiting. Tell me about the schedule this week. What's it look like? What's going on? When do you leave? When do you get there? How many tickets? Who's handling the tickets? How are you handling this week?
Well, it's really, I want to say it's up in the air today. We're going to find out more stuff tomorrow. You know, the NFL keeping it close to the vest. We're staying in the family hotel. I guess it's the team and the family and friends hotel. So they don't want to give out too much information where we're going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're getting out there. We getting out there Tuesday, right?
Okay.
And we may have to go to the honors program because Jamal can't make it. So we're going to that to represent him. Then they got some other things planned for us. It's just a whirlwind, man. We got to do some things with Nike. It's like it's nonstop once we get there.
And you talking about you, the family, or is this Jamar?
No, this is the family.
Yeah, right.
Not even Jamal.
Yeah. So So how does he handle this week? Because we talked to Jimmy Burrow last week, and like the emphasis for Joe, obviously, is to take as much stuff off his plate as possible. Right. Mm-hmm. What's that approach from you guys' point of view?
Yeah, that's the same thing. That's why I'm in Cincy now, right? Trying to help him get situated before he leaves to go to the Super Bowl. You know, help him out with whatever kind of stuff he has. He got all kind of packages and stuff coming to his house. You know, we're just trying to get some order with him and not let him deal with all of this stuff by himself and be overwhelmed, you know?
Custom Super Bowl cleats from Nike, I'd imagine, right?
Could be. You know,
I mean, you got to decorate the Rookie of the Year. I mean, my God, the NFL. Right. Pepsi made it official last night. I know that was not a very surprising award, but I mean, Jimmy, you step back. He's the Bolitnikoff in college. Now he's the Pepsi Rookie of the Year. I think he was named the Rookie of the Month and the Week, I think 8 times out of 17 weeks here in his rookie season. How cool is this? This has got to be a cool part of it.
Man, that's like the coolest. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was amazing, and it took us by surprise, you know, but it was happening so often, you know. And guess what? They still haven't really seen it at that time when it was happening, you know. So, like, I don't know, man. It's too much to soak in right now. We still struggling coming back down to earth, you know. And I heard you talking about Jamal crying at the game, right? Yeah. You should have seen his mom, him and his mom, you know. See, I'm a man. I didn't do none of that, you know. I was good, you know.
Give me that cigar.
What was that? What was KC like? What was the AFC champion? That was an incredible football game. What was that like from you know, you got somebody on the field because they doubled him all day. And if you watch the mic'd up, the KC defensive backs coach was an emphasis to take Chase out of the game. They were trying to drive him, and in the second half he got going. What was that game like for you?
Well, to me it was like, you know, this has been going on all season, right? And Jamal only needs like one quarter to do whatever he has to do. He gets most of his yardage in one quarter. Either the second or third or the fourth quarter, you know, they try to take him away most of the game. But he'll do enough damage in one quarter to get the team going. And I was just waiting for that to happen. I knew it was they've been using him a lot more right towards the end of the season. So I knew he would come through or they would go to him later on in the game. And it was just awesome, man, watching it happen. And you can just feel it, you know? You can just feel it while you was out there at the game. Like, they were so excited when they won the toss in the overtime. And I was like, wait, hold up. This is not the Buffalo Bills. This is a whole different game.
Right.
You know, the Kansas City fans just knew that it was over with, but we never thought like that, you know. We never thought like that.
That was an incredible game, really, just to be in it. I mean, it was so emotional to watch that game. You know, one of the things that also stood out was the NFL films caught and captured some micro moments of Jamar and Joe, and it's when Cincinnati gets the ball back in regulation, Jamar looks at Joe and he says, "Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Lead us, baby. Lead us, baby." And then when Joe gets into the huddle and says, "When we score, we're going for 2," and Jam says, "Shit, yeah, I like that." You could just kind of feel like it's kind of big brother, little brother, and even the films have caught throughout the season that Joe kind of cares what Jamar thinks about him. Like he almost needs that head nod or that wink of approval from Jam to kind of say, "Yeah, Joe, that was a cool joke," or like we can all laugh. What is their relationship like, just as a dad watching them and hearing that stuff?
Well, I mean, that's just them. You know, Jamar told me from day one, you know, Dad, you know, me and Joe is going to do this, and Joe said we got to do this, and Joe. You know, he always talks about how Joe was giving them directions and leading them and telling them what to do. You know, Jamar talks about that work ethic that they built at LSU, and it was like, you know, I remember talking to him on Thursdays or Friday nights, and I'm like, "Well, when you coming home?" And it's like, "I can't come home. We got to work out in the morning. I got to do my workout." You know, me and Joe. But I thought it was just him and Joe. I didn't know it was the whole team. Right. You know, and he was real religious about that. You know, and then he'll do that, and once he do that, he'll come home and he's all good. You know, but they've been cultivating that relationship for a long time, and you can see it now. You know, the same way we've been cultivating our relationship with the parents. You know, like we get with them at every game, and it's like a ritual now. You know, we have to get up, we have to meet with each other at the game, whether it's a home game or a away game. Once we do that, we're comfortable, we're happy, and then we're going to take on the other team.
Or even if it's the Super Bowl, which will be wild, man. It's gonna be crazy to be there on Sunday. Can you take your mind to that place yet? I mean, can you even imagine what Sunday is going to be like when the Jets fly over and they kick the thing off and MarrChase is the best wide receiver on the field at Super Bowl 56?
No, man, I can't. I never thought about the Super Bowl, okay? And my wife asked me, "How come you never thought about the Super Bowl? You think about everything." I don't know. I just never thought about the Super Bowl. Right. I was so busy caught up in the playoff or the rookie record or the you know anything else, anything but the Super Bowl. And now to turn around and open up my eyes and like we're in the Super Bowl, it's crazy.
The matchup between him and Jalen. This is two uncaged pit bulls going. This is the alphas, maybe the best corner in the league. And the best wide receiver in the league. What do you know of what Jalen means to Jamar? How big of a matchup is this, if you know?
Well, I'm going to just tell you like this, right? Jamar always shows up when the lights are the brightest and the stage is the biggest, right? And he's not going to take no crap from anybody. You know, what I think will happen, Jalen may get him one time, and then Jamar's coming back with vengeance, you know, so, you know, I look forward to it. He looks forward to it. You know, it's going to be awesome.
I hope that Jalen, that is his tactic early on to see if he can't bully him, because that would set the stage for for him to just go Jamar. I mean, the last time we've seen him in this game, the national championship game, he was the best player on the field.
Right, because they were trying to bully him.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
That's right.
You know? That's playing right into Jamar's hand.
Bring that shit on. Bring it on.
Right.
Enjoy the week, Jimmy. I can only wish that I could be riding shotgun with you, my man. Have a safe flight in. Enjoy the week. Soak it all up. Hopefully we are talking next week to a world champion father. Congratulations on everything. And tell Jam good luck.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
All right, man. See you.
All right.
There was MarrChase Sr., Jimmy Chase, checking in. I hope that is, because you know that's what Jalen Ramsey is going to do. And one thing that will tell you about Jalen Ramsey is that he knows that he can't let this cat start going because he can't control him. If he's starting to try and push him after the whistle, if he's chirping at him.
Oh, they're gonna be
throughout
chirping.
the game.
100%.
Oh, no doubt he's
does
gonna be
not
chirping.
talk.
He's gonna be chirping.
Jamar doesn't see. I mean, I'm sure Jamar talks shit, but he's so quiet in the way that he does it.
Calm.
Like, yeah, he's so calm because he knows he's better than you. And Jalen Ramsey's a barker.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting matchup because if you're the Rams, that's who you have to take away with your defensive line against.
Well, you
their
saw that was
offensive line.
Kansas City. That was their plan, was to take MarrChase away from Burrow. And in the first half, he had no catches.
And then they went one-on-one one too many times.
One too many times, and Joey will find that
every time.
Every single time, he's going to find that. And he knows how to throw him open. If you heard KC's defensive backs coach, whoever the DB was that came out, it was the same guy that he was
Ward?
torching. It might have been Ward. He was torching him week 17. He was getting his ass again. And he came out on to him, and the coach was like, put your effing pads on the outside of him. You know what he's going to do.
He's running the fade.
I mean,
every
you
time.
know exactly what he's going to do, and you just can't stop it.
Well, that's what happened again. You talked about the national championship. He was kind of held without a catch for a long time in the national championship, and the first big play LSU hit was the fade to Jamar, really. And then once they realized, like, they're singling him up.
Yeah, and as soon
like,
as they
I'm
do
gonna
that,
throw it
all
every
day,
time.
all day. I mean, he should have had another touchdown. The only pass he dropped in 2019 was a touchdown catch against Clemson in the third quarter.
And then he should have had another touchdown when he ran out, like the guy that ran out of
Yeah.
bounds and came back in
Yeah,
and got
he
him. He
kinda
thought he was about to
strided
start, start grittying.
Yeah, he was. PCG Inbird says, you have to be honest about Will Wade. You were not in love. You were in love with Coach O in 2019. Are you going to eat your words about Wade? Just rewind the clip, dude, about 10 minutes.
Mark the tape.
It's gonna be great, the Super Bowl, man. I can't wait to watch this week. I can't wait to watch all the lead up to it. I can't watch Joey and the way that he handles the week. I can't wait to watch all the interviews around these two. I mean, it's gonna be awesome, bro.
Jimmy on Super Bowl Row.
Yeah.
You don't think he's gonna catch an interview,
I
dude?
mean, you can hear him. Got shit to do with Nike.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah,
Hate
right.
to see it.
I was like, you were jammed. No, the Parrots.
No, he's gonna be walking
it's gonna
down
be
Press
great.
Road. He'll see McAfee talking, be like, "Oh, you Jamar's dad? Like, someone's down right over here." Okay, sunglasses. Oh, you're Jamar's
One day,
dad.
boys. New Orleans hosting the Super Bowl. What, 3 years from now?
If we're not there in 3 years, pack this thing
Yeah,
up.
it's over.
Yeah,
We didn't make it.
or they're coming to us.
That'd be huge.
Got a nice little spot over there we're looking at.
All right. Appreciate you being here on this Sunday night. Make sure and hit that like button, that share button, that comment button. A beautiful night last night down in New Orleans for the Italian Sports Hall of Fame. Yes, it was a beautiful night. Thank you.
Yeah,
I screwed up.
on.
I screwed up bad. This was a major screw up on my part. I undervalued the day, and I didn't invite my family. I just invited Kelly, and I've emceed this event
So
before.
you know what you were getting into.
So I did know what I was getting into. It was a pretty selfish move on my part.
No, I don't think
Listen,
I wouldn't call it selfish.
It was because sometimes people are surprised to, I think, find out people in this genre, in this medium, usually are like introverts. Usually you're like, you don't really like the sense.
Playing a
You
character
don't like
almost.
the center of attention. You don't my hang up about it was I didn't like to ask people to drive to New Orleans, get a ticket, get a hotel room, do the deal, get the traffic, do all this stuff, you know what I mean? Come to the banquet. And that was my fault because one of the reasons and one of the biggest reasons on why I was able to be there last night and accept that award, which was a beautiful night put on by Dr. Philip Cancelleri and Frank Maselli and everybody with the Italian Heritage Cultural Institution, was because of my support system. You know what I mean? The people that have been around me since I started this 20 years ago. And for me not to include them in last night, I understand how, that was wrong of me. And that was, it was very insincere. And it was a beautiful night because it was a great night. And it was a cool night. And I undervalued how big of a night it was going to be for not only me, but for everybody that's been a part of this, right? For us to get here and, it was not a lifetime achievement award because we're still young in the industry, I think. But it was, up to this point, kind of like a salute to what you've accomplished. And there's no way that I could have done it without my mom, my dad, my sisters, all the people that have been around my support group. Kelly was there last night, which was cool to have her there. And, she means a ton to me and what we have going on. She's been so supportive and helpful. And I mean,
I lived with her.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah.
She got 4 more roommates.
Unbelievable. Yeah, right. I mean, y'all were drinking coffee with her every morning.
Oh, y'all are here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, babe. Sorry. They're cooking in the kitchen this morning. They're cooking. But, I can't really, I feel almost guilty about celebrating last night because it was a very cool night and those people should have been there. And I know that it very much affected them. Some people, that are here, I mean, this is probably some inside baseball stuff. This is probably stuff you don't care about, but I just wanted to make sure that was said on this platform because it should have been said last night in that room, in front of everybody, that there's no way that I could have been on that stage accepting that award without the people that have been around me and supporting me since day one. I mean, when I was doing a radio show in the back of some broke down restaurant when nobody was listening, those people were, and they were doing the stuff that was helping me get there, whether it would be my mom bringing Jordan to school every morning, so we could go and do the morning show, or just the support of everybody along the way. I mean, the family. And one thing that it was that was most disappointing, at least for is very anti-Italian.
That's what I mean? It's all about family.
I mean, because it really is. I mean, it was a celebration of family. It was a celebration of the entire group, and that's what we are. You know what I mean? That's what my family is. I mean, we're
at the heart of an Italian,
big Italian family, bro.
Yes.
I mean, we ate Sunday lunches around a 20-foot oak table for my entire life until my grandfather passed away a couple of years ago. And we're trying to revive that and get that back. So
off to a hot start.
Yeah. It was a fumble for your boy in the open field.
No, and I really don't think I'm sorry to cut you off because I know what you're trying to say, and I think it was just it wasn't a legacy-defining moment for you. It was like there's so much more for me to accomplish.
It was. I definitely
the crescendo.
I undervalued the moment. I really did, and I'll tell you when perspective hit me on it was last night. I walked into the room, and when I walked into the room, people were kind of like sitting down, and you could see the sections and tables starting to fill up of people. And like I said, it wasn't like the first time I had been in this room. I've emceed this event 2 out of the last 3 years. So, I mean, I know what the room looks like. And then Paul Maneri walked up to me as we sat down because Renato was sitting right next to me, and Maneri introduced Renato, which was a cool moment. And Maneri kind of like, you could tell, was in almost coach mode and was like, were you old enough to remember Buddy DeLoberto? And I was like, a little bit. And he said, this is a huge honor for you, Culotta. Like, kind of like looked me in my eye, kind of like, and like shook his head, was like, congratulations. You know what I mean? And I kind of was like sitting there like thinking like, fuck, I fucked up. I should have my people here for this. Like, this is a big moment. It's a bigger moment than I thought I was walking into, and it was, I should have respected that more, No,
I mean, I think it goes to how your kind of personality is and the brand that you've built. It's everything's all right. Like everything's easy, like everything's no big deal until you kind of realize that it is, like, oh, I didn't realize it was such a big deal that I should have people here, even though you've been in the room before. Like, you're still so blasé about it because you're always looking for the next thing. You never settle. And I think that's part of what makes you good and probably what made you feel like I may have missed out on something because of the Italian family, but I wouldn't cast so many stones at your house. At your own house, dude. Like,
yeah, for sure.
It's a massive honor.
I've been beating myself up.
Yeah. This is not the time, dude. This is the time to celebrate. I wouldn't beat myself up about this.
Yeah, no, it was cool. But I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Make sure you hit that like button, that share button, that comment button. We will be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. as I will be brought to you by Ghost Chevrolet. Looking to track down Jeff Duncan or one of the media members that was in the room last night. I don't know if you saw it. Cool moment. Sean Payton took all the local media out to eat and out to dinner last night. Stewie, you saw that? It was cool. A cool moment.
Our boy Underhill, on the very outside.
Underhill, absolutely. That's how Underhill plays.
That's how he operates.
Right. Like another guy that you would think is a extrovert, but actually just a very big introvert. I mean, a lot of the people that do this blow people's mind when you meet them. I mean, we're not all Matt Mosconas. We don't all want the spotlight 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like, most of us are just kind of like
normal.
When we're off, we're just kind of like, keep your head down in the corner. Hey, man, it's cool. Yeah, we're really approachable. Let's talk, whatever you want to talk about. But I mean, I don't need the microphone, and I don't need the people driving in, and I don't need all that stuff. But that was a cool moment, I thought, for Peyton. You know what I mean? Like, that was a very human, yes, more than anything, moment for Peyton was to kind of sit down with them and break bread. And you could see the laughs and the relationships, and there was a lot of presents and a lot of gifts and a lot of.
I'm sure he had kind of the same feeling you had. It's like, damn, I wish I'd have done this earlier.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I'd have been able to be on the same page with these people the entire time. Like, I know that a lot of coaches pit it like us versus the media or whatever. Whenever, dude, we're just trying to like have a story, and if you're a good guy, it makes it that much easier. And Sean Payton was probably one of the easier at times coaches to cover that gave you access, and it's sometimes one of the more prickly. Where
Absolutely.
You're like, I don't even want to go to the
press
press
I saw Cat
conference.
Terrell sitting front and center. I mean, who can forget some of the back and forth between him and Cat Terrell? And Cat's always kind of been the one that understood the relationship, because they've had moments like that where, come on, Sean, we've shared dinner. You know what I mean? As like a crew. Like, I mean, we've laughed together. Kind of like, what what
this game is.
You know what my pets' names are. You know what I mean? Like, we're personal. We know each other. I have to ask you this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing my job if I'm not doing this. And she almost takes that approach, like, Sean, I have to ask what happened in the third quarter when you didn't call the timeout. And he's like, I'm about to trample you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm about to rush you right now.
And I'm gonna be sorry.
And she knows it. You know, she's like, all right, here. So it is. It'll be cool. I'm looking forward to talking to somebody who was in that room with Peyton and just kind of breaking down that relationship, and then where they go next. If you've seen there, Eric Bieniemy is next up on the interview list for Kansas City, which I got to say is very intriguing to think about. I wouldn't be against, for as much as I was all in on the Dennis Allen move, and I still think that that's probably going to be the landing spot for New Orleans, and that is, I think that's a good hire. That really is. But I look up today and I saw that the Miami Dolphins hired Mike McDaniel. And Mike McDaniel is a 38-year-old offensive coordinator and who has been with Kyle Shanahan the entire way. He was kind of like he was kind of like, who was my guy's name at Mississippi State, Penn State offensive coordinator. Now he's over at Oregon.
Joe Brady, Joe Moorhead.
Joe Moorhead and Joe Brady. It was kind of like Moorhead and Brady. Wherever Moorhead went, he would bring Brady along with him until he was ready to fly his own plane, and he would kind of let him out there, and he went and flew the plane. This is Kyle Shanahan's kind of young, confident, the guy that he was always protecting, always kind of like, look, we got to have this guy on staff. He's got to be here. And the Dolphins have made him the next head coach. He's 38 years old. And it kind of got me thinking, if you've got somebody in the front office like Jeff Ireland, like Mickey Loomis, like people down there who are forward-thinking and really understand where the game is, where it's kind of evolving into, what is, what's relatable with free agents and guys that are attracting to an NFL franchise. And if they could find that young, up-and-coming, no-name play caller or offensive genius or offensive next protege that, is somebody like these guys that are getting jobs today, look, man, I'm willing to take a risk. I'm willing to take a gamble. You know what I mean? Like, if it's – and I even think that you can put Eric Bieniemy in that list. I mean – he feels like the most interviewed and the most guy that you know of from an assistant pool of names that, did you have to Google Mike McDaniel?
No, I just wanted to pull up this picture of him.
But did you have when he got the job today?
No, I knew about him because he's on my
he's a quirky, right.
He's a weirdo. He's right up my alley.
He is, and like he's battled some stuff off the field that they've covered up, and Shanahan's went to bat for him, and he's kind of been the guy that you're like, look, I know that he's passed out in his office and he's got liquor bottles everywhere, hard. But here's the deal, man, he's the one that beat Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean?
Monday morning.
He's got to be the guy that we pay. If you can find, not necessarily this guy, but I'm just saying that type of brain, that type of, Sean McVay's the model, and I don't think that there were too many McVays walking the planet out there. I think McVay was kind of an outlier. But I do think that there were people, on McVay's tree or people in and around McVay and his era that, are really starting to dominate football. They really are. I mean, even though I saw, did Josh McDaniels get the Oakland job?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's probably
or not the Oakland job, but the Las Vegas job, the Raiders job.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But it feels like when you talk about, I don't want to call it a retread with Dennis Allen because of what Sean Payton's built in New Orleans. You want to keep that same culture, right? It's not what LSU had to go through with Ed Orgeron, where like strip this thing, change everything. It's dude, what the walls and the foundation of this thing is good. Sorry, Jared. It's
That's your boy, bro.
The foundation is good. So we don't want to. We just promote from within because everything's right. But there's a part of me that sees like a Mike McDaniel out there, and it's not worth the Saints to do it because they're so established. But that might be the next one.
No doubt.
Like you have a coach that
feels like that's gonna hit.
Yeah, where feels like it's gonna hit. We have the one for the next 15 years.
Max Allen, does Jordy have beef with Nascona? No, not at all. Zero. None.
Not worth it.
We're still in a text chain together.
What do y'all text about?
Stupid stuff.
Like what? Give me one example. I mean,
management at his workplace.
That's the scene around the dinner table.
That's right.
Funny how?
Yeah, right. Seriously, they still do that? All right, have a great night. We will be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We will be driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, just like we always are. And on Sunday night, remember, Law Office of Lance Beal. Hit our guy up, lawofficeoflancebeal.com, 337-991-6263, 337-991-6263. Call Lance today when you need
anything.
When you need representation, whether it's personal injury, small business, construction law, family law, estate planning. Your choice is Lance Beal, especially in the Acadiana area. Hit him up, lawofficeoflancebeal.com. Everybody have a good rest of your Sunday night. For Stewie, for Lloyd, for Noah, Jordy Culotta signing off. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.
Hall of Famer, Jordy Culotta.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So,
you
salute.
Get a jacket?
Salute. No jacket. Italians, bro.
Yeah.
Just a pat on the back.
Yeah. Saw the shoes.
Yeah. Good to see you there.
Yeah. They said
you're grown since the last time I saw you there. Wider though.
They said take your family out to dinner. Makes amends for everything. That's the move.
The picture of Olio and Renato was absolutely hilarious.
Renato being Italian, dude, is that unbelievable? I mean, dude, the young old Italians that were walking up to, the old Italians that were walking up to Renato were like, so wait, son, you're a Paisan? Are you sure? And Renato's like, yeah, from New Jersey, bro. Renato, we've been eating small since I was 2 years old, since the red sauce. I mean, what do you mean? I'm all Italian. And Maneri's like, this is the second Italian pitcher I've ever inducted into the Italian Hall of Fame. And so these old guys are like, this guy here is Italian coach? This guy, the 6 foot, looks like a power forward. Yeah, it was the attack. They could not get over the fact that Renato, a baseball player, like me and Renato would be saying, I all thought baseball players looked like him. They don't look like this guy right here, short and bald. Renato's like,
shoved y'all right next to each other.
Renato actually moved a nameplate
Very
banquet.
Italian.
Yeah, it's very Italian.
Yeah.
He was like, you think anybody would see it? I was like, dude, your 6'7" ass needs to, you just make the change. I'm just going to kind of distract and act like we're talking. And dude, it's just very smooth. And the guy's name who he crisscrossed was walking up to sit down as he placed it. And he was like, this is me right here? And Renato was like, that's you right there, Joe. There's your seat.
Take a seat.
It's unbelievable. Renato was like, that couldn't have worked out any better, could it? I was like, no, sir, it couldn't have. Have a good night. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning.
Unbelievable.